Hey everyone, this is Papo Morales, and I'm with AmWager, and I'm going to be talking about Form to Win, which is a app that you can download at formtowin.com or your Apple Store or Google Play. It's available for your phones and also your tablets, as well as your desktop, your PC. It's available for that also, so I encourage you to download it. When you download it and you install the app, when you pull it up, this is the first screen that you're going to see. Now it will take a minute to load because it's loading the two past days results, as you can see here, Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as the next 2 days or today and tomorrow's entries, so you can start to run some analytics on those races. And if you create an account, which all you have to do is put in your email and create a password, then you'll get 2 free live races a day that you can play around with and test out the app and see how you like it and just get used to using it. But if you don't create an account, then you're basically going to be looking at past days results, which is fine also if you want to look to see if you could have found the winner on some of these races from yesterday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So that's always fun, to back test the system and see if you would have come up with any angles. So that information is available there also. Here's today's races. Let's see who's running today. Gulfstream's running in a couple of minutes. You can always hit next 10 races and it basically loads the races by post time. So it looks like we have Oakland next at 4:06. That's a maiden claiming race. Delta, maiden claiming. Gulfstream, 5.5 furlongs, optional claiming. I will click on that just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here. When you click on the race, you get the race entries, you get the race information. So this race is 5 furlongs. I'm actually going to move myself off here so you can see the entire screen. This race is 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. And what I like to do first is hit the comparator tab up here and go ahead and change it from finish position to distance, and then from summary to packed. And what that does here is this giving you basically the past performances or how the horses ran color coded for all their starts. So their most recent race is always to the left of the screen here by their name. So this horse finished off the board, brown. We color code everything. So brown is off the board, red is first, green is second, third is yellow, and fourth is blue. So this just gives you a quick summary. Like right away you can see like the 6 horse won last time out. Obviously you want to see more red, but that can change with distances and everything. But that just gives you a quick snapshot of what's going on. But the main reason I look at this is just to make sure we got plenty of races to work with and data to run some analysis. So then once you do that, just hit the Analyze. And you're going to see, actually, I'll show you exactly what you're going to see. First time you log in, you're going to see all these different tabs up here. So horse's name, post position, odds, best form to win time, average form to win time, worst form to win time, average equibase speed figure, best equibase speed figure worst, total starts. So this is important so that we know that we have a good data set to work with. The more data that you have, obviously, the better. Foal date, average weight carried, race weight for today, average weight in between this race and its last race differential. So some of this information can be a bit overload, and like I really like to drill down on certain things. So if you want to take some of these columns out, just click this tab right here and basically just click what you don't want to see. So I'm gonna really narrow this down, and I'm only gonna focus on average form to win time, average equibase speed figure, and then the best form to win time also. So without putting any filters in, form to win kind of likes the 6 horse. It's got that horse ranked number 1. Now that horse could have been running at more 5 furlong races, which will skew the numbers just a little bit. But right away, Form to Win likes the 6 and the 4. Looks like your favorite is the 1 horse at 2 to 1. So what I'm going to do is create a filter to kind of drill down this information. And for any race between 5 and 5.5 furlongs, that's the way I like to set up my filter. Me particularly, I don't look at 6 furlong races. I just think the 5 furlong and the 5.5 are a little bit sharper. So I'm going to adjust my furlongs here and only look at races between 5 and 5.5. And this is on the dirt, I believe. Yes, dirt. So finish position you can change, like how they ran in the last couple races. I'm not concerned with that. Beaten lengths, if that's important to you. In this case, it's not for me. Starts, within how many weeks. Once again, I don't particularly use that function. Track condition, I'm just going to click all dirt. I'm going to assume they're fast at Gulfstream. I didn't look earlier, but I'll just click all dirt for now. But if it was an off track or sloppy track, you could just de-highlight those options there, so you would only look at the data that was on and off track, especially if the track changes throughout the day. That's really easy to look at that information, but I'll just click all dirt. And let's see, okay, so Nicholas Rose and Northern were the top 2 without any filters, and I want to see if that's going to change any. It didn't. So those 2 are still ranked 1-2 on average Form to Win time. But what's interesting here is the 2 horse who's the favorite. See, we have no data on him here. So he must have been running longer. Let's see. I'll go back to the comparator, take my filter off. Yeah, so he's cutting back. The favorite is the 1 horse. He's cutting back from a mile. He's run at 7 furlongs, 6 furlongs. So he's run competitively at 6 furlongs. He's got 2 wins, it looks like, at 6. But, maybe 5.5 is a little bit too sharp for him. If you want to know just more information on each particular entry, just click on Summary and then click on the horse. So the 1 horse who is the current favorite, let's see. We got Bob Hess as the trainer, Paco Lopez. So that's interesting. But I want to see who trained the 4. Peter Walder, who's had a good Gulfstream meet, the championship meet, and we've got Vasquez in the saddle, and then on the 6 horse, Herman Walensky and Jose Morelos. So don't know too much about those connections, but if you want to dive into the connections a little bit more, that's always an option. And just to get back to the screen, so here you got to decide if you're going to try to beat the favorite who's cutting back from a mile, but who has also run successfully going 6, but maybe cutting back is a little bit sharp. So the horse of interest here, for me, at least from a price standpoint, would be the 6, and the 4 is the second choice. But I would kind of key in on those if you were trying to beat the favorite. But that's how Form to Win is seeing it. And if you wanted to bet this particular race, through the sim bet option, you just click this calculator right here, and you can basically put in how much you want to spend. So if you don't want to spend 100, just put 50. You hit enter, and it's Dutching. Like if you were trying to get the favorite out and you wanted to Dutch this combination, the 4 or the 6, it's telling you these are what your payouts would be. You put $12 on the 8 for a payout of 96, or $38 on the 4 for a payout of $95. So that's the sim bet option. It's fake money, but you can test out the system that way. So that's interesting. I'll have to see how this race comes up. But if you wanted to put those bets in, you would just say create slips, and then you can see the balance up here was reduced, and we can come back and see how they ran. And then actually your bet tabs, if you click the bet tabs, it shows here, this race is going off at 6 minutes. These are the 2 wagers. Sim bet wagers that I put in, and then it'll tell you what your profit was if you made a profit or if you did not. So that's the way that you can track your SimBet wagers using Form to Win. Let's see, Delta just went official. We've got Aqueduct in 23 minutes. I'll just take a look at them real quick. This is an 8 furlong race allowance. We're on the dirt, obviously. I believe they open for the turf this weekend, maybe. It'd be good to get turf racing back in New York. But this is an 8 furlong race, and now I want to see, we've got plenty of data here. 10 starts, 7 starts, 10 starts, 7 starts, so plenty of data to work with. So I will go ahead and pack this. So we have, this is a competitive group, at least just going off horses that like to win. I will hit Analyze. Form to Win likes the 1 and the 3, just without any filters. The 3's the favorite, Sharp Star. The 1's a little bit interesting, Gone Glimmering. Now 8 furlongs. I want to look at races. Let's see. These horses have been running it. We've got horses 8, 8, 7, 8.5. So I will really drill it down and maybe just look at races that were at this distance for today. 8 furlongs. Let's see if that changes anything. Track condition, all dirt. Go back to Analyze. So now the favorite's on top, Sharp Star. So it moved the 1 horse down quite a bit, as you can see. So now Form to Win that I drilled down just to look at races at a mile. It really likes the 2 and the 3, which, you know, currently are your, well, not your top choices, because the 6 got shuffled down, and he's currently at 2 to 1. So that's always interesting too, when there's a horse that's taking money that maybe is not as fast, at least on Form to Win, but it could just be that the 6 has been running at longer distances. No, he hasn't. So, you know, we'll have to, that could be a beatable horse or a horse to try to get out of the exact if you're trying to beat the 6. But Form to Win using that filter likes the 3 and the 2. And let's see if best changes. The 2 moves up. He's had the best. So, yeah, it's kind of chalky. Using the filters kind of drilled it down. But, yeah, we'll see. And if you wanted to bet that race, which I'm not going to Dutch 2 favorites, you know, that's not a payoff that I want. But if you wanted to play 1 or none and just pass the race, that's always fine too. And interesting, I want to see who ran the last out highest number, because that's sometimes an angle I use in these optional claiming races. So the 6 ran a 90 last time out. So maybe a little bit more interesting than the 1, but the 1 ran a 105 a while back. But I'm not going to sim bet that race. But it'll be interesting to watch. I'm going to hit home here, and I will look at some Keeneland for tomorrow. It's that time of year here in Kentucky. Although we got snow flurries here today in Louisville, and we've got a hard freeze tonight, about 24 degrees, I believe. So Lexington's probably, actually they get a little bit cooler than us. It'll be interesting to see how the turf is rated. I know sometimes when there's moisture in the air and it freezes as the day progresses and it warms up, and I believe we're supposed to get in the 50s tomorrow, that could, you know, the turf course may not be firm. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But we can look at some of these races and adjust for firm or turf that's rated good. I'll start with the stakes race, race 7. This is going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. I click Analyze, and the first thing that Form to Win tells me is it likes the 2 horse. Bodenheimer, that's without any filters. It likes the 238, which, you know, the 8's the favorite, Fauci, and the 3's Chasing Artie. Both those 2 are or Wesley Ward horses, but Form to Win without any filters likes Bodenheimer, so I'm going to really try to drill this down, but I will start at the 2, because Form to Win likes him right off the bat. I already went in here did this, but just adjust from 5 plus minus to 5.5. Track condition, all turf, and just click apply. So it moved chasing already up just a little bit. But let me see my races sample there. Okay, but it's only, he's only run one race. So he's a maiden, first time out going to a stakes race, facing higher level competition. And when I was looking at this race, he's a pace horse. Bodenheimer's actually a pace horse too. Looks like there's a good amount of speed in this race. So the 3 wants to go. The 4 may go. So the 4 is an interesting horse. From the point is, you see we have no data on him here because he's been running on dirt. But I can, if I just want to use all the data here, let me go. So I will, because he's at, believe it or not, the 4 has some turf pedigree. He's still not. He's been running. He must have been. Let's say he's been running at 6 furlongs. So I'll just take it off. This filter off altogether. Blameworthy. He has been running on dirt, but he's by Blame out of a Roman Ruler Mayor, who's actually already has a turf winner. And his running lines are decent. He beat a horse called Run Classic, who, showed some promise down at Fairgrounds, but he's making the switch over from dirt, but maybe 5.5 is too sharp for him. But it looks, this 1 is a little bit interesting, looking for Loki. I'm trying to find a price in here, but Form to Win kind of likes the 2, and obviously the 3. Fauci got moved down a little further. With my filter active, looking only at 5 and 5.5. Now, if the turf is rated anything other than firm, I'll take out firm and hard and hit apply and see. And Bodenheimer moves up. So Bodenheimer's been very consistent. He was rated number 1 without any filters. He was ranked number 2 with filters, looking at races between 5 and 5.5. And now that whatever the turf's rated, he still fits. Even if it's rated good, I can't imagine it would be yielding, but he fits all around. And the 1 horse keeps sneaking in here too. Well, he moves up some when it's not firm, but so that'll be an interesting race. I wouldn't necessarily take a short price, but Bodenheimer at 4 to 1 is decent. The only other horse that I was a bit interested in, from maybe an exotic standpoint, was this horse, the 7, United and Resolute for Mr. Tom Amos. Now it looks like he's been trying to get this horse on the turf, but he's been running. His last 3 races have been on the dirt. I'm going to sort this packet. So we're talking about the 7 here. These last 3 races here were moved off the turf onto the dirt. So he's getting back on the turf in this particular race. And if you go back to his maiden race, which was at Keeneland in July of last year, yeah, he finished second to Fauci, who's the favorite here. So he doesn't necessarily fit on Form to Win, but the seven's interesting, getting back on the turf. So I'll keep an eye on him, and he did run well on yielding turf back at Keeneland last year. So if the turf is rated good, he's a bit interesting. But Form to Win likes, the 2, 3, and 8 with the filter, and then without the filter, the 2 and the 3. So the 2 and the 3 is who Form to Win is agreeing on, and then I'm just interested a little bit in the 7 from a price standpoint. But that is the Keeneland 7 tomorrow. The Keelan 8th. This is the Beaumont, 7 furlongs on the main track. Once again, your track information here. I will just click Analyze. Form to Win, just strictly without any filters in, likes Amafi Princess, who I believe is a runner for Maker. And Slumber Party, who is a maiden winner last time out at Gulfstream Park. Went straight to the front, never felt pressure, but did so impressively and posted a good, decent fig. And the second horse came back to win. So without any filters, those are the two that Form to Win likes. Now, let me see how much data we have on these horses. Okay, we don't have a ton. We've got 3 starts, 1 start, 5 starts, 5. So we've got, on some of these horses, we do have some decent data. But like the 2 horse, who's the favorite, Slumber Party, we just have 1 start, maiden win. Stepping up in the stakes company for the first time, but for Kelly Breen, so sharp trainer. So when I'm trying to drill down my filters here, we've got horses that have been running at 6. We've got one there at 7, 6, 6.5, 6, 7. The 5 looks like the 5's cutting back. Yeah, 5 is cutting backs, but has run some races at 7, 6. So for my filter for this particular race, just to kind of drill these things down, I'm going to adjust my furlongs to only look at races between 6 furlongs and 6.5. They can get the 6.5. I'm just going to, project that they can get the 7, and I want to see if that makes any difference in terms of what, Form to Win just using the raw data. So when I put in 6 to 6.5, Form to Win likes the 3. Farsighted, and we've got 4 races sampled, so that's more races sampled than any of these other horses, and the average is the fastest. So the 3 now has become interested. Farsighted, that horse is for George Arnold. Julian Leparoux, coming off looks like a overnight stakes or a low stakes, the Any Limit Stakes at Gulfstream Park in the slop. She won by 4 lengths. By Bernardini, so enjoyed the slop, but 2 back let's see, we'll go to the comparator here and we'll look at her 2 back race. Okay, 2 back she was at oh wait, I got the filter turned on. Okay, 2 back, this is at Churchill. That was the Goldenrod race, so this was a route, so she's back to 1 turn. She finished 2nd in this race at Joy's Rocket, going 6.5. So it looks like she wanted shorter. She just didn't like the 2-turn going a mile and 16th in the Goldenrod, at least not at that point in her career. So Form to Win likes the 3. When I kind of drill down the data, I only look at races between 6 and 6.5, and the 4. I mean, the 4's still there. The 5 is a little bit interesting from a price play. Lady Traveler, let's see. Lady Traveler just ran in a 1.8 mile race on the turf at Gulfstream Park. Looking at her past performances here, let's go back to the comparator, and I'll take off my filter. Okay, so her 1.8 mile race was not great. You go 2 back. She finished 2nd, signified by green. The 3rd place horse, Hull Bodemeister, that horse came back to win at Gulfstream, a grade 2, I believe, before she got injured. So her form's a little bit dirtied up. The 5 horse. I mean, if you take out these route races, although she did run. I mean, she ran 2nd to Coach at Churchill back, but maybe she just wants 1 turn, and maybe she doesn't like the 2 turns. And at 15 to 1, you could do worse and include her underneath in the exotics. But those are the horses I'll be interested in this race. Particularly the 3, the 4, and the 5. I don't know what to do with the 2. Big fig in her maiden win, and honestly, she could repeat that form, but I don't think she's going to get loose. Let's see. She went 22, 45, 109. Who else is going to go with her? Okay, the 7, 20 carat for Wesley Ward. She's paced too. Her last 2 races have been at Turfway Park on the poly, or on the artificial, and she's shown good speed. 23.46 her last, but 2 back in her maiden win, she went 22.45. So, I don't know if the 2's going to get out there on the lead. And the 1 horse, My Girl Red, she ran at the Del Mar Debutante. Toss her last. Looks like she got comments or just knocked into rival. But she ran the Sorrento, and she won the Sorrento, went straight to the lead, 22.45. So, there should be an honest pace here, and I don't know if Slumber Party is going to get loose. Not saying that she has to, but she's more than likely not going to be up by 4 lengths at the second call like she was in her last race. So, just an interesting take. She's the favorite. I'm telling you to toss her. But maybe you do. Maybe you just decide that she's not going to get the same trip that she got last time out. Ann is asking a lot for maiden winner Step Into Stakes Company, but this is not a huge field. We've got 7 horses, so I'm not saying she can't do it, but I would be interested in the 3, 4, and a little bit of the 5 horse, Lady Traveler I believe that's for Romans on the cutback. Yep, yeah. Romans and Lannery. So that's how Form to Win kind of likes the 8th race tomorrow at Keeneland. We'll go to the 9th. Short field in the Transylvania. So let's see. Race 9 going a mile and a 16th on the grass. We will find out how the grass is rated, whether it's firm or it's got some give to it tomorrow. But right away, I'm just going to hit let's see, the favorite. Well, we've got 2. No, we've got Fire Will, who's the morning line favorite. The Breeders' Cup winner who tried dirt last time out in the Fountain of Youth and was not successful. So gets back on the turf here and did win at this track. And the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, which was actually, that track was rated good that day. So we know that horse will like some give to the turf. And then we've got Scarlet Sky for McGahee, Rosario in the saddle, and then Earl's Rock on the outside for D'Amato, and Giroux. Click on Analyze. Okay, without any filters, it's kind of going with Scarlet Sky and Fire at Will. But I think you can really drill this down. I don't want to look at all the data. I don't want to look at 7 furlong races or 6.5. I want to look in particular for races between 8 and 8.5. Track condition. I'm just going to click all turf right now, just assuming that it's firm, but we can go back and change that. And I'll click Analyze. And so Form to Win, just looking at races between 8 and 8.5, like Earl's Rock, 2-1. Scarlet Sky, 2-1. So it pushes Fire at Will down just a bit. Earl Rock only has 1 race at these conditions, looking between 8 and 8.5. But he fits. Scarlet Sky fits. Fire at Will's got 3 starts at between 8 and 8.5, but he's been pushed down. So maybe he's a vulnerable favorite. The problem in this race is I don't see a ton of pace. So Fire at Will may just trip out. If he goes straight to the lead, I'm not sure who's going to go with him. Looks like Scarlet Sky wants to stalk a little bit or can come from off of it. The 2 Palazzi doesn't look like he's going to show any pace pressure. Breadman is more of a mid-type. Fire at Will, we talked about maybe setting the pace. Bannister Tom, more of a stockish type. And Earl Rock, more of a stockish type. So not a lot of early heat in here. So we'll see what they do, what Maker and Gaffleone do. But could send him to the lead, and he could trip out and get comfortable out there, and then we'll have to come running down. So for the multis, I don't know if I would toss the 4. The 4 looks like he could trip out, but the interesting horse maybe would be if you only wanted to use one of these horses in the multis besides the favorite. Maybe try to squeak by with Earl Rock. Shipping in from Santa Anita. So that's the 9th at Keeneland tomorrow. And then we'll just look at the 10th. So we'll just do the last 4 races on the card. This is a maiden special weight. So I'll bring myself back into the picture here. Maybe not. Let's see. Okay, so this is a maiden special weight. So the thing about Form to Win is it's all data derivative. So we don't have trainer statistics factored into this yet. We're gonna try to build that in at some point. But so with these maiden races, maiden special weights, where we've got a limited data set, you're gonna have to really trust your PPs, your traditional PPs, and look at the work patterns coming in, look at the trainer statistics. But let me see what we've got here in terms of total starts. We've got, yeah, I mean, all these horses are lightly raced. So we'll take a look at it. I'm not going to tell you exactly who to concentrate on, but we'll see if they can identify maybe a price horse that we can get involved, just going off a limited data set. So we're going 8.5 furlongs on the dirt. So without any filters, which honestly, I don't know how valuable that is, because we've got horses that have been running at 6, and then horses have been, the 1 and the 2 have been running at 8.5. So the data is somewhat, could be a little bit misleading, because without any filters, we're looking at everything. So the horse that's obviously been running at a shorter distance, his numbers are going to be skewed. So I'm going to try to drill this down with the limited data that we have, try to drill it down a little more. So I'm going to set my filters and only look at, oh, I'm in the way, apologize about that. I'm going to set my data at between 8 and 8.5 furlongs. And then track condition, I'm just going to do all dirt. And given that data set, Form to Win likes these 3 horses: Precipitate, oh good lord, with the 5 horse, Iliogami, and then Queen Bourbon at 10 to 1. Fits on, just looking at races between 8 and 8.5 furlongs. Now, the favorite in this race is the 2. Let's see who the connections are. McPeak. And you've got Alvarado in the saddle. Will Take Charge on top. Joyful on the bottom in terms of breeding. That's the favorite. But Form to Win kind of liked, well, let's see, it liked the 1 a little bit. Queen Bourbon for Ian Wilkes. Empire Maker on the top. Starlight Tier on the bottom. Let's see, let me go back to the comparator. I'll take this off. See, if you click this button up here, this is with my filter data, so this is only looking at races between 8 and 8.5. And as you can see, the 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, I'm not using any of their data from the previous races. That's why I'm saying you really need a bigger data set to make an educated decision, because you can't grade horses that you're not looking at any data. But given the data that I'm looking at and at the race distance for tomorrow, 8.5 furlongs in distance to the race, I'm looking at horses between 8 and 8.5. Queen Bourbon last time out went, a little over a mile, got a 71 71 equibase speed figure. The 5 got an 83, going 8.5. So that's, given the data that we had, those are the 3 horses that Form to Win likes. And let me see who the connections of the 5. Oh, George Arnold and Lake Peru. Horse has 3 career starts and in 2 seconds. Tap it horse. So, you know, that's who Form to Win likes with a limited data set. So that'll be interesting to watch tomorrow and see how those horses run. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, from a price standpoint, you know, maybe Queen Bourbon at 10 to 1 if she fits. Maybe she can get a piece. Maybe she can win. We'll just have to watch it, you know. But that is a maiden special weight, and we have limited data. But using the filters, trying to drill it down, that's who Form to Win likes. Okay, enough of me talking about that. So that's tomorrow, Keelan. And like all these races are available for tomorrow. We will get Saturday's races tomorrow. So you can I'll start to look at the Keeneland Saturday card and Santa Anita and Oaklawn also. And just another thing before I jump off here, if you click more and you go to subscriptions, if you click on Asia Pacific, you can change regions. So if you like to play the international product, we do have form on that also, and it takes a minute to load, but I'll just show you that real quick. Let's see here. Maybe I'll bring myself back over. So this is the international form, Australia and Hong Kong when they run. Actually, tomorrow, Australia and UK. So here's Hong Kong from yesterday. So an interesting angle betting Hong Kong that we have found with the help of some of our users, Frank in particular, is, and I don't know that much about the Hong Kong product. I just know the pools have huge liquidity, so they're good sized pools. Oh, and so I figured out why I'm seeing this. I've got too many things taken out, so I'll add some more in. Here, I'll take these out. Okay, so for Hong Kong, if you just focus on, at least when we're testing the data now, if you focus on average form to win time and best form to win time, if you just concentrate on those two, if you take your top 3 and only look at those horses, it's putting you onto some winners or you know, some horses that run well. So yesterday in the first at Hong Kong, you know, Little Thunder, well, he was the favorite. She was the favorite. But the second horse, you know, Form to Win had ranked for the best was the Abraxas, who went off at 7 to 1, and she fit. She was like a dual qualifier, so she fit both on average and best. And then we'll do race 2. I'll just show you here. So analyze. So Form to Win, just using strictly raw data, using average Form to Win time. It had this, you know, basically had the exact of the top 2 horses on the average, and then the best, the top 3. So that angle, just starting to drill down and look at horses that fit on best average Form to Win. Let's see, average. So it had. This is actually a good race. Race 3 yesterday at Hong Kong. Going 1,200 meters, and so if you really want to drill it down, it's in meters here too, so you don't have to do the conversion to furlongs to meters and vice versa. So whatever the race is being run at, we've already got that built into Form to Win, so you don't have to do the calculation in your head. But right here, Form to Win had, just by average Form to Win time, it had Jade Phoenix, who looked, let's say, was the favorite. But Form to Win also like Gallant Legacy, who went off, you know, over 12 to 1. So that actually Form to Win had the trifecta. Just looking at average Form to Win, and well, the best it had the 4 horse, but the average it had the top 3. So that's an interesting angle that we found just playing around with the races in Hong Kong. If you know the jockeys, I know our friend Frank said that if you know who the top jocks are and they're on a price horse and they fit here on Form to Win, they're a must use. So if you're into the Hong Kong pools, feel free to dive in. I'll have to start diving into more of those myself, just with the success that Form to Win is having. But that's pretty much a quick summary of using Form to Win, and I know we kind of looked at the late pick 4 at Keeneland. I'll look at the late pick 4, pick 5 tomorrow at Keeneland. Maybe on Twitch. We'll have to see what the schedule comes up with. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, PopOcore1. I'll try to answer them, and if I can't answer them, I'll try to ask someone who can get you the answer. But like I said, just download the app. It's free. Formtowin.com, or go to your app store, depending on the type of phone you have. And yeah, we just encourage you to download it, get used to it. It's a different way, honestly, it's a different way of looking at PP. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, if you're used to doing this stuff. And it doesn't take account, pace. And, often pace makes the race. So, you got to, if you do your other handicapping, you'll know that. And I think Form to Win will put you onto some horses that maybe you weren't looking at. And it'll also push some horses down to the favorites that, at least on Form to Win, just don't fit on pure speed. It's purely speed derivative. But yeah, and I encourage you to download it, play around with it. You get 2 free races a day if you create an account. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And appreciate your time. I'll see you here next Thursday, same time, Thursdays at 4. And like I said, if you have any questions, just reach out on Twitter, or those that have my cell number, feel free to text or call. But appreciate everyone's time, and I'll catch you next time.